Hello, welcome everyone to join this session. So today we're learning the lesson 14. So let's start. This is extensive commentary by Khenpo Sodaiji Rinpoche. So for the word of my perfect teacher, which is also Longqing Nyingtik Ngöndro. So first, I would like to spend a few minutes to give the introduction for our learning material because we have so many things. Actually, let me share my whole computer so I can switch around. Okay, so there's three places we can find the study material. One is the web page, and then group chat and the channel. Because the web page, we're referencing the channel, a lot of videos. Okay, let's go to this Tibetan Buddhism study. Let me post this link to the chat. I will also post it to the group chat. This is a lot of materials, so we don't want to get everyone confused and too much to learn. Okay, so this is the oral transmission. First is Khenpo's oral transmission. In here, we also have, this is like Patrul Rinpoche's teaching, right? So the word of my perfect teacher, which is recommended for all the lineages of Tibetan Buddhism study. So this is the oral transmission. This is the playlist. This playlist have update, okay, more than 10 lessons. Now it's 14 lessons and all the discussions of our Zoom meeting. It will be good to have this link because
in Tibetan Buddhist tradition, it is
so all the teachings are public and also have introduction public. But the Ngöndro discussion sessions, like what we did for this session, will be unlisted. So which means only people have link is able to see. We're not published to all the channel member. So continue. This is lesson 14 and questions for reflection. For each lesson, we have a few questions for reflection. So when people, this is AI narrated, the video. And then when you listen or read, we also provide the text. You can thinking about those questions in mind and then see what if you can answer. So start with this lesson 14. We started the meditation. This is the guided meditation. All the meditations instructions is in Khenpo's website. So this is Khenpo's website with Longqing Nyingtik. I didn't put each because they have 94, 92 actually, the meditation sessions. I put the master link, not every link. But for this lesson 14, it will be reflect on the meditation 1, reflecting on the nature of freedom. So you will see, you will listen to Khenpo's teaching. Khenpo's teaching has English subscription, then the beginning, main part, all the text, and also have some reminder which Khenpo want to put here. Then for here, we only have a guided meditation, which is, thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan did this guided meditation. So you can listen, once you read the Khenpo's instructions, you can listen to this guided meditation. So we'll go over a little bit more about how to do this meditation practice later in the teaching. Then let's continue. For this one is the discussion session. This discussion session is the last week's discussion session. Is transcendent perfections and other mode of conduct. Then from this teaching, from this lesson, we started to put the practice guide. This is a prostration because Campbell mentioned prostration as well in this lesson. So for the people, encourage people to do the prostration. We have a few prostrations. This is like 108 prostrations. So we can follow the guide to do this prostration. Then we have more to come. Since all the teachings will follow the Laranga Buddhist Academy, so we have a lot of materials. If you think it's too much, you can, just follow the basic. So this has more study material. First, we have the book. The book contains lesson 1 to 19. And for the normal, like the daily chant, so like refuge generate bodhicitta, you can look at the Laranga daily chant book. It's in further reference. We also have more materials in further reference for referencing some videos, like practicing videos. But for now, this is important. And launching intake Ngöndro meditation instructions. I also put the link here. Basically, it's the same link as the previous one. Then I will continue. We'll continue put more book because the book is also in translation. The book 2, the volume 2, gonna be put it soon because 19th we have a few lessons ahead. Then we will publish another book here. So basically, we have a big team behind to support these teachings. So teaching was so precious. Okay, so this is the master sheet for our study. We started from by the end of last year, and then each week we have a lesson. Then we also have a discussion session. If you want to find the discussion session link, which because we're not published in all the channel members, so you can find the link here to go back to listen to the discussion session. And this is continuous discussion, like from lesson 9, where we are doing discussion session like every week. So every week we have a lesson and discussion session. From lesson 14, we started the meditation. So we have a meditation instruction, which is the link what I showed, Campbell's website. And then we have the recording instruction video, and also the reflection on the nature of freedom. This is Campbell's instruction, and this is the guided meditation, which is the same link as we showed in the previous one. So this is the link here. So there's a lot of going forward, because for totally we have 92 meditations, I will put over here like each week. So we will have like where to look, which meditation session is corresponding to which lesson. So we will have like the complete teachings from here. So this spreadsheet, master sheet, is continuously updated by me. Then this is the Zoom session. Like we have Zoom 1 and 2. Basically, we have some like reference. Yeah, this is all the teachings materials. Any questions so far? Is it clear?
Excuse me, can this pin on our web page? So at least the main one, so we don't have to search for it or something.
I put it in the chat.
It's on the chat, but on our web page, WhatsApp page, you
Yeah.
can pin this information. So if we need it, we can find it right there.
To ping, right? So use okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I can put over here as well.
There are so many, we sometimes got lost.
I know. Okay, so I will update the pin information, and then I put over here too. So I will also paste it here.
Thank you.
Because continuously welcome, Sally. Thank you for the suggestion. I think because in the future we'll continuously add more content here as our study going on. Okay, let's go back. This is the also we have a group chat. I think so we added the meditation practice from this lesson 14 with this page. We also have a group chat and channel. So we also post some study materials in a group chat and questions. Sally also doing the questions and explanations in the channel. Okay, so I think we spent a little bit more time on this. So let's start. Okay, start today's session. So who wanna read the refuge and generating bodhicitta?
Okay, may I?
Go ahead, Train. Thank you.
Sure. Taking refuge and generating bodhicitta in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment through the merit of practicing generosity and so forth. May I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. In the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so forth, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. In the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I attain the enlightenment. Through the merit of practicing generosity and so forth, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Okay. 我言语经路常常被马给撒动波拉，杨先就给我这呢，被马中呢些苏达，考度看着忙不过，设计这苏达对接，新基立些些修手古路被马实际红。In the northwest of the land of Uddiyana, in the heart of the lotus flower, endowed with the most marvelous attainments, you are renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by many hosts of Dakinis. Following in your footsteps, I pray to you, come inspire me with your blessing, Guru Pema Siddhi Hu.
Again, please, one more time.
Okay, 3 times, right? Whom in the northwest of the land of Uddiyana, in the heart of a lotus flower, endowed with the most marvelous attainments, you are renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by many hosts of Dakinis. Following in your footsteps, may I pray to you, come inspire me with your blessing, Guru Pema Siddhi Hu. Whom in the northwest of the land of Uddiyana, in the heart of a lotus flower, endowed with the most marvelous attainments, you are renowned as a lotus born, surrounded by many hosts of Dakinis. Following in your footsteps, I pray to you, come inspire me with your blessing, Guru Pema Siddhi Hu. Do I support to read Tibetan as well, or just English?
English, please.
Okay. In the pure realms of the great southern side, the 5-peaked mountain, the blessing of Manchu sees, wisdom is ripening in your mind. Jigme Puncho, at your feet I pray. Inspire me with your blessings. Transmit the realization of the wisdom mind in the supreme realm, in the pure realms of the great sacred site, the five-peaked mountain, the blessing of Manchusi wisdom ripened in your mind. Jigme Puncho, at your feet I play. I inspire me with your blessing. Transmit the realization of the wisdom mind in the pure realms of the great sacred site, the five-peaked mountain, the blessing of Manchusi's wisdom with ripening in your mind. Jigme Puncho, at your feet I play. Inspire me with your blessings. Transmit the realization of the wisdom mind.
Thank you very much, Choi, for the reading.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, let's homage to the teacher Buddha Shakyamuni, homage to the wisdom warrior Manjushri, homage to the entire loving lineage masters, the unsuppressed, profound and wonderful Dharma is difficult to meet for the hundreds and thousands, million eons. Now that I get the chance to see, hear, receive, and practice it, may I understand the ultimate meaning of the Tathagata. In order to liberate all sentient beings, please generate supreme bodhicitta. Okay, let's start. First, we'll go over the outline of the word of my perfect teacher. So, okay, the word of my perfect teacher, like the whole outline, contain two parts: the proper way to listen to the spiritual teachings and the teaching itself. So we have completed the proper way to listen to the spiritual teachings with the last 13 sessions. So quickly, the attitude and the conduct. Attitude, we learned why we need to learn Vajrayana. So they have vast skill in means. So I think everyone already know. And the conduct, what to avoid and what to do. Because this is important for us as the Buddhist, we always know the courses and conditions, right? If we don't have the right courses and conditions, we'll not get the right fruition. So that's why also Campbell mentioned a lot of times why we study this way. If we study the other way, we're not get liberated. That's why it's important in the beginning, we have to lay the foundation, what needed to learn, how to learn, what to avoid, what to do. So for the last session, it's the 6 transcendent perfections and other mode of conduct. So why we need the 6 transcendent perfections? Because we needed the 2 accumulation. So we have to accumulate the merit and accumulate the wisdom. So without this 2 accumulation, we cannot get liberated. So the first 5 is merit, accumulate merit. The last one is wisdom. So we have learned in the last session. From this session, we started the teaching itself. So the teaching itself, now we started to learn external preliminaries, which is also common preliminaries. The first one, the difficulty of finding the freedom and advantages, reflecting on the nature of freedom. And then we learn the 8 states without freedom, which is this 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this 1 to 8. So we'll continue learning. We started the common preliminaries. From this session, we'll continue learn the common preliminaries. Okay, so this is the whole, the big picture of the outline. Let's go back. So this is lesson 13. We have reviewed briefly why we needed to learn lesson 13. And then we also learned the 6 transcendent perfections when we listening to the teaching. And also when we do the practice, like how to keep this, how to practice the 6 transcendent perfections. Basically, if we do a wrong practice, we're probably not able to accumulate merit. We probably just a waste of the time. That's why we need the proper way to practice. Okay, so we briefly reviewed what we learned last time. So what we learned this time. So we started the questions, so we can thinking about these questions when we read the content. Why it is necessary for us to understand practicing in order. Please cite a koan to illustrate what the conclusion can be drawn ultimately. Okay, this is the text reading one, so let's go back. Sorry. Text reading. Sorry, I should go to the top. Okay. All right. Who want to read first? Who is volunteer?
Okay, I can do it again. Do it again.
Thank you, Joy. Go ahead.
You're welcome. Lesson 14, the importance of preliminary practice. We have learned the proper way to listen to teachings, including the right attitude and the right conduct. Today, we move to the teaching itself. The whole sequence of Ngöndro of preliminary practices, I have repeatedly stressed that. Although the text of the words of my perfect teacher seems simple, its meaning is very profound. So we must devote ourselves to studying it to generate conviction. Such conviction is indispensable to any practice. So please contemplate the text repeatedly in order to internalize the teachings. This sequence of practice is very important for each of us. The masters should always urge them to establish a solid foundation through embracing the basic teachings of Buddhism. By doing so, their practice in this life won't go wrong. When Venerable Atisha came to Tibet, he secretly gave Dom Tonpa the teachings of the Ngöndro practice sequence from the practice of the precious human life to transference of consciousness. Dom Tonpa was puzzled, asking, why do you give the other disciples empowerment and the secret mantras while you teach me the Ngöndro sequence? Atisha answered, because I have no one to whom this teaching can be entrusted except you. Due to this, Dom Tonpa became the lineage holder after Atisha, and his Dharma activities was really vast. Once Kadampa master Pushungwa asked Geshe Shegawa 2 options. One is well-versed in the 5 major signs, having the 5 cyclic abilities and attaining 8 ordinary accomplishments. And the other is experiencing the stages of the path to arrive in the mind. Which one do you choose? Geshe Shingawa answered. Not to mention experiencing the stages of the path to arrive in the mind, even if it's just having the conviction that the stages of the path are indeed like this is sufficient for me to make the choice. In our past lives, we have been well-versed in the 5 major signs. We have had 5 cyclic abilities and attained 8 classical siddhis innumerable times, yet we were not free from samsara. If we have conviction about the Ngöndro practice sequence, definitely we will be liberated from samsara. Therefore, practitioners in the degenerated age shouldn't first go after the high teachings. Instead, we must start with the Ngöndro practices. We should understand the meaning of the Ngöndro guidance. But most importantly, we must meditate on each guidance one by one. For example, when meditating on the precious human life, we should develop this conviction. It is very precious for me to have this human life, And it is even more precious to have a human life during which one can study the Dharma. Now I have this precious human life. From now on, I must always use it diligently, practice the Dharma. If such a conviction arises in you, your practice will start well and end well. We should follow the footsteps of eminent masters of the path, being practitioners with superior faculties. Those masters still follow the sequence and completed the practices with great diligence. If you want your practice along the path not to regress, the key lies in your current effort with the Ngöndro practice. Since the beginning of time, our afflictions have been deeply rooted in our mind stream. Thus, we must first complete Ngöndro, including a common and uncommon preliminary practices. It is not too hard to understand the text of the words of my perfect teacher. The contents is in this text are much easier to understand than those in the Buddhist logic and treasury of Abhidharma. But when you practice Ngöndro, make sure you don't just know verbal meaning of the text. The most important thing is to develop conviction in the mind and generate irreversible faith in each meditative guidance.
Thank you very much, Choi, for the reading.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's go back. We go through the few important points. So, Zhongzhenpa was puzzled, asking, why do you give the other disciples empowerment and give them teach the Ngöndro sequence? Alicia said sequence is very, very important, as Campo mentioned as well. Also, Geshe Chingawa also mentioned the conviction is very, very important when we do the practice. Okay. So start a Ngöndro practice. We must start a Ngöndro practice. Should understand of the Ngöndro guidance and to meditate on each guidance one by one. This is very important. So if we don't practice, we don't do the meditative reflection, so we won't be uprooted our afflictions. So because our afflictions is very strong, so we have to do it in a correct order, correct way, and correct time to get the result. This is what Campo said. So how do you approach the Dharma preliminary practice? Please describe it with your specific actions. What is the reason for this? So let's continue, and then we can get if someone share can continue. Okay. So this is the practice reading 2, the questions. Okay, so we completed the reading 1. Anyone want to share? Oh, no? Okay, so we'll continue. These are questions because we have a lot more content to cover. This is the second. How do you approach the Dharma preliminary practice? Please describe it with your own specific actions. What is the reason for this? In the beginning, in the previous, we got to know the Ngöndro practice is very, very important. Now it's like, how do we practice? So this is the text reading 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items how to practice. So let me go back to the reading section. Anyone wanna help read the Anna, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Text reading 2, how to practice. Develop conviction in the mind and generate irreversible faith. Once, Khenpo Awang Kelsang went to visit his guru. His guru asked him about the progress of his Unjo practice. Khenpo Awang Kelsang answered, I can't say that I have completed the 4 common preliminary practices perfectly and impeccably, but from my practice here are some things I feel certain about myself. Since I was a young child, I had a little interest in worldly wealth and fame. Especially now, your blessings have enabled me to understand that everything is an illusion without inherent existence. So I don't have to try hard to generate renunciation, as my renunciation arises naturally. Meanwhile, my faith in the 3 jewels increases day by day, and what I say aligns with what I really think. I fully understand that bodhicitta is the foundation of the Mahayana path, so whoever I meet in daily life, friends or foes, family or strangers, I regard them as my mothers of past lives and sincerely hope they will be free from sufferings and will enjoy happiness. Hearing this, his guru was very happy, saying, That is certainly ideal. However, it is worth mentioning that the state attained through Unjo may regress easily if not followed by sustained practice. You should thoroughly know by heart and firmly hold into the definition, outline, and sequential order of each Unjo practice. Therefore, you'd better memorize by heart the entire text of the words of my perfect teacher. The Guru then gave him a copy of the text. How to practice? Memorize the entire text. Khenpo Awang Pilsang followed his guru's instruction and memorized the entire text. Knowing this, his guru was very delighted and highly praised him. Many practitioners in Tibetan Buddhism memorize the text of the words of my perfect teacher, word by word. By doing so, the text will be etched in their memory for their whole lifetime. Whenever they need certain contents from the text, the words naturally arise in their minds. As for me, I have a very deep affinity with the words of my perfect teacher. When I first studied the Dharma, I listened to the teaching of this text. At the time, I wrote down all the scripture evidence and Buddhist stories in my diary. While I was practicing my Unjo, I would try to memorize these notes during my lunch break. Therefore, I have memorized all the scripture evidence and stories in the words of my perfect teacher. Although I didn't memorize the text words by words, I still remember clearly with the stories, scripture evidence, and arguments appear in which sections of the text. Patrul Rinpoche's words, the essence of his wisdom and compassion, arise very often in my mind. If a great enlightened master like Khenpo Awang Pilsang made a great effort to memorize the text by heart, how can we ordinary people practice little importance on it? If we don't practice great emphasis on the text, we can hardly get genuine blessings and attain states of realization. Eminent masters are fully aware of the sequence an ordinary being needs to go through in order to attain the fruition of a sublime being. By following the practice sequence, innumerable beings have attained realization in the past, and innumerable beings will attain realization in the future. Especially those great masters who have been practicing for their whole lives have all praised the importance of Unjo. They say, only when one practices Unjo well can have avoid falling into the lower realms and instead attain real accomplishment. Pray to the Guru 3 jewels and with faith and devotion. Meanwhile, when practicing Unjo, it is indispensable to pray to the Guru with faith and devotion. Why does Patrul Rinpoche title the text Kunsang Lame Shalom, which literally means the oral teachings of the Samantabhadra teacher? Here, Samantabhadra refers to his root guru, Jigme Gelwa Nyugyu, in whom Patrul Rinpoche had extreme faith. To Patrul Rinpoche, his guru was inseparable from the primordial Buddha Samantabhadra. Here, hence, he called his root guru Samantabhadra. never be parted from faith and compassion. Buddhism always emphasized that a practitioner should never be parted from faith and compassion. Lineage masters and their teachings have inconceivable blessings, and the teachings are actually the essence of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Now that we are fortunate enough to encounter the teachings of the Buddhas, Bodhisattva, and lineage masters, we should have extraordinary faith in them. This is the meaning of never be parted from faith. Meanwhile, we should think this way. Due to our ripened merits, we have encountered the Supreme Teachers and the Mahayana teachings, whereas tens of thousands of beings around us are still deeply trapped in the ocean of samsara suffering due to their ignorance. Thus, we ought to generate fervent compassion towards these beings, hoping that one day we will liberate them all. We will share the Mahayana teachings with them instead of keeping them to ourselves, so that all beings in the three realms will be nourished by the Dharma rain. This is the meaning of never be parted from compassion. If studying and practicing the Dharma with faith and compassion, our mind will nourish and gradually soften. The inner state is reflected by the outer signs of speech and action. If your mind is at peace, your body and speech will appear peaceful. The flower garland sutra says, just like the lotus flower to which moss and water cannot cling, or sun and moon that course unhindered through the sky. By then, whatever you do, dwelling in the mountains and forests with tigers and wolves as companions, or living a bustling worldly life with many others, you are benefiting other beings. And when causes and conditions ripen, you can teach the Supreme Dharma to others. If you aspire to benefit being and propagate the Dharma, you will always find the opportunity to do so at any time. Of course, you must first complete the Ngöndro. Understand the Ngöndro teachings, contemplate them again and again, and practice well. In contrast, if you understand the Ngöndro teachings, contemplate them again and again, and practice well, you will have absolutely no problem with any other practice. I dare to guarantee you this. Ngöndro is crucial for practitioners of this degenerate era.
Thank you, Anna, for the reading. Okay, let's go back. Okay, in this section of the text, so we mentioned 5 how to practice. So we have to develop conviction in the mind, memorize the entire text. That was the previous masters did. Pray to the Guru and Sri Jews with faith and devotion. Never be part of the faith and the compassion. The 3 and 4th are basically similar. Faith and compassion and pray. Okay? So understand the Ngöndro teachings, contemplate them again, and practice well. This is the contemplation, which is the guided meditation we started from this lesson. So briefly go through a few items. So the flower garland sutra said, just like the lotus flower to which mud and water cannot cling, or sun and moon that courses unhindered through the sky, which is describe all innate nature. It's like the space. It's always there. So there's nothing need to be changed. So next, develop convictions in mind. So generate a reversible faith in each meditative guidance. So this is very, very important. For this, so memorize the entire text. So Khenpo Gawan Penzan made a great effort to memorize the text. Khenpo also mentioned lots of Larongas, in Larunga, a lot of people also memorize the text. So he suggests, encourage us to memorize the text. If we don't have a place, great emphasis on the text, we can hardly get genuine blessings and attain state of realization. So that's why we are reading the text. Even we cannot memorize the text. So we are reading the text in the study sessions. We also get a lot of blessings. So, excuse me, when practice Ngöndro, we have to pray to the Guru. So Patrul Rinpoche is pray to his Guru, which is Jime Gawi Nyugu, and he, the Guru, his Guru, is mentioned, refers to as Samantabhaja. So never be parted from the faith and compassion. So we have, this is the, so when we have the faith and compassion, like our mind will be nourished and will be gradually softened. Normally, people are very like fixed, all the mind are fixed, handle things are fixed. So Kampo mentioned, like here, if we get the blessings, our mind is more applicable and can do, more powerful this way. So Kampo also mentioned, if we can complete Ngöndro, complete them again and again, we have absolutely no problem with any other practice. So Ngöndro is the basic, and it's the can treat like the whole practice. Okay, this is the any questions and comments anyone want to share regarding this 5 items? Find it's very quiet. Okay, let's continue. Questions for the next session. What are the differential explanations for the ordinary external preliminaries and extraordinary internal preliminaries? Please list them one by one. Okay, so start from here, we are the teaching itself. We go back to what we learned. So now we started the external preliminaries, which is the common preliminaries. So in this reading, we'll cover what is common and why it said common. Okay, let's go back to the readings. So now the teaching itself, we started the next important part of the word of my perfect teacher. Who wanna volunteer to read this text?
I can go.
Go ahead, Ratna, please.
Okay. Text reading 3, the teaching itself, the difference between common and uncommon. The teaching itself has 3 parts. First, the ordinary or external preliminaries, the common preliminaries. Second, the extraordinary or internal preliminaries, or uncommon preliminaries. Third, the swift path of transference. The difference between common and uncommon lies in the following aspects. First, common means the teachings are in common with Supreme. Uncommon means the teachings are only in the extraordinary partial end. For example, teachings concerning the precious human life and the impermanence of life can also be found in the Supreme, whereas teachings concerning the refuge of the inseparable union of the 2 kayas, the purification practice of Vajrasattva, and the Kusali's accumulation are exclusively in Vajrayana and are not explicitly covered in Sutrayana. Second, common means the teachings are in common with those in Theravada. Uncommon means the teachings are unique to Mahayana. Teachings of the precious human life, the impermanence of all, following the teacher, and more can be found in the classical Theravada texts, whereas teachings of Mahayana, refuge, bodhicitta, and Vajrasattva cannot be found. Third, common means the teachings are in common with those of other lineages, such as Golok and Sattva. Uncommon means the teachings are unique to Nima. For example, all the lineages have teachings on the precious human life and the impermanence of life, whereas practices involving the visualization of Padmasambhava are unique to Nima. Fourth, according to the great Jivan Prasad literature, common also means the teachings include foundational instructions that can be practiced by people from different lineages, whereas uncommon means the teachings are fifth instructions that cannot be practiced by practitioners of other lineages. In short, there are different ways to interpret common and uncommon. Common preliminary practices. 1. Reflecting on the nature of freedom. 2. The teaching itself, an explanation of how difficult it is to find freedoms and advantages. Common preliminary practices. The common preliminary practices include 6 subjects. First, the difficulty of finding the freedoms and advantages. Second, the impermanence of life. Third, the defects of samsara. The fourth, actions, the principle of cause and effect. Fifth, the benefits of liberation. And sixth, how to follow a spiritual friend. The chapter on the difficulty of finding the freedoms and advantages is explained in 4 sections. Reflecting on the nature of freedom, reflecting on the particular advantages related to Dharma, reflecting on images that show how difficult it is to find the freedoms and advantages, and reflecting on numerical comparisons. 2. Reflecting on the nature of freedom. Generally speaking, the freedom refers to having the opportunity to practice Dharma, and not being born in one of the 8 states devoid of opportunity. Many people complain, I am so busy, I have to work, I have to handle things at home, I have no time for mental. This wrong attitude and its corresponding actions are also considered a sort of lack of freedom. But strictly speaking, lack of freedom refers to those states covered below. They are categorized into 8 states according to beings' existential states and particular conditions. If one were to be born in one of the 8 states, there would indeed be no opportunity to practice Dharma. A guide to the words of my perfect teacher covers extensively the 8 states without freedom. When meditating on the lack of freedom, Temple Nalang Pasang suggests starting from the Guru Yoga practice, then proceeding to analytical meditation on the 8 states, with each state described in great detail in the text. Each of you should consult this guide, which includes profound book instructions for practice. Recently, we learned that Temple Nalang Pasang's suggestion on meditation. Each meditation should consist of a preliminary practice, the main part, and the conclusion. The preliminary practice includes the essential points for the body, speech, and mind, while the main practice focuses on meditating according to the guidance, starting by meditating on the topics of the precious human life. When studying the preliminaries, you should integrate the contents of the words of my perfect teacher with the practice instructions in regard to the words of my perfect teacher, and the scriptural evidence and reasoning in the great chariot, Longchenpa's auto-commentary on finding rest in the nature of the mind. Then you should devote yourself to the practice accordingly. By doing so, a rock-solid conviction will enter in your mind, will arise in your mind. The 8 states of lack of freedom are not unique to Tibetan Buddhism. They are explicitly explained in the classical Buddhist works, including Majjhima and the Sutra of the 8 States Without Freedom and 8 Freedoms. Unfortunately, many of these classical works have long been stored in the Supreme repositories and remain untouched, gathering dust over time. Throughout history, giving and listening to Dharma teachings have not been a particularly popular tradition in Chinese Buddhism. Since the monastic has foregone everything, including family and career, they should devote themselves wholeheartedly to protecting and upholding the Buddhist teachings. I wish that every monastery or temple would offer Dharma teachings, only when those teachings from the true Dharma still remain in the world. If monastics do not give teachings, then temples would be left with only Buddhist statues and scriptures. Teaching and practice are the core of the Dharma, while everything else is just peripheral gymnastics.
Okay, thank you very much, Betna,
you.
for the readings. Let's go back. Okay. So first, we are looking at the external preliminaries, common preliminaries, what is common and uncommon. So the first common means the teachings are in common with Sutrayana. Uncommon means specifically with Vajrayana. The second common means the teachings are in common with those in Theravada. Uncommon means the teachings are unique in Mahayana. The third common means the teachings are in common with those other lineages, such as Gulu and Sakya. And uncommon means are unique in Nima. So we are the Nima, the fourth. According to Great Jime Phongtso Rinpoche, common also means the teachings include foundational instructions that can be practiced by people from different lineage, whereas uncommon means the teachings are pith instructions that cannot be practiced by practitioners of other lineage. So basically, our lineage has very unique and very like super practice. So and it's the complete package. So which can lead us to the liberation from like Ngöndro. Then we have pith instructions specifically for our lineage to practice. So other 8 Learned states only taught in Tibetan Buddhism. This is the next. Okay, nature of freedom. Okay.
Ask a quick question. Is there a difference between Sutrayana and Theravada?
Sutrayana and Theravada? Yeah. Sutrayana is Mahayana, right? Theravada and Mahayana is different.
So Sutrayana is a Theravada and Mahayana.
No, Sutrayana is Mahayana. Theravada is not Mahayana. Theravada is different than Mahayana, right? For the Vajrayana, we have the basic practice. We have to learn a lot of teachings from Sutrayana. And based on the Sutrayana, we have a lot of skillful means, the pith instructions to practice. That's why we got we can achieve an enlightenment very soon. But the practice of Theravada and Mahayana are different. So the goal is different. The practice also different. That's very different.
I think you could also say the Theravada mostly refer to Sravakas and Pratika Buddhas, and their goal is to attain personal nirvana. Without so-called Mahayana is for the liberation of sentient beings. Theravada is more focused on personal liberation, so-called nirvana. That's one difference. In other way, just Theravada didn't have the bodhicitta practice. Bodhicitta practice is differentiated from Mahayana, from Theravada.
Yes, thank you, Sally. So the goal is different. The goal for Theravada is more for ourselves. But for the Mahayana, the basic is practice for Mahayana is practice for all the central beings, which is very important to have bodhicitta. So a lot of bodhicitta practice is in Sutrayana and Mahayana. Did I answer your question?
Well, a little different from the definition I thought I knew, so thank you.
You're very welcome. I think go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that actually that Sutrayana is the vehicle of the sutra. So technically, Theravada uses the sutra as the basis of their teaching. So I guess it might be a different way of defining, but in certain places they will say that Theravada and Mahayana are included in the Sutrayana. But maybe here in this case, and then maybe Christina and Sally, you can clarify, is Sutrayana is supposed to be different from Theravada? Because also my understanding is that Theravada is included in Sutrayana as well as Mahayana.
So I'll try to. I think, from my understanding, which is pretty limited, you're right, Jonathan. Sutrayana refers to the text-based learnings or teachings in both Theravada and Mahayana. And so those are the basic or foundational practices that come from text. So it's both in Theravada and Mahayana. And then Vajrayana is mostly focused on the practice aspects of what we've learned through the foundation. So we can study both Theravada and text-based Mahayana, and both of those would be referred to as Sutrayana.
Yeah, so that's also my understanding, but it's possible that in the context of the teachings of Kempo, Sutrayana really refers to Mahayana. I'm not certain exactly, so that's why I'm asking Sally and Christina if that's what you have seen or heard.
I think I think probably it's difficult for us to define Sutrayana. What is sutra? Of course, the Theravada also follow the Buddha teaching. That's you could say it's what Buddha taught. It's a sutra. But what I understand is the Theravada emphasis more on the Four Noble Truths and the 12 links of dependent origination. That's what they most emphasis on. That's one difference, if I understand from the Mahayana. Maha means great. That means, like when we say our refuge prayer, it's for the benefit of all sentient beings. I generate bodhicitta, or I want to attain enlightenment. That's one difference. I mean, it's they say. I think it's if we could define what is it's a different definition, whichever way people define, that's fine. But we are just talking about the nature of their practice and the goal. That's what I can.
My question is not about the difference between Theravada and Mahayana. It's more about the use of the term, or the definition of Sutrayana. It was more about this, because the way you mentioned was like Sutrayana is Mahayana. And then also my understanding, and it's probably Anna's understanding as well, was that Sutrayana encompasses both Mahayana and Theravada. So that was my more the nature of my question.
Okay, I think maybe not in this context of this class. We can look into the different definition. I will try to find out what different places these are discussed. Okay. And the Sutrayana, if it's equivalent to Mahayana, I don't know. Okay, it's I'll find a more definite answer later on. Okay, I cannot answer this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. I think like for this context, because the Sutrayana is this is mentioned in Vajrayana. I think for this context, probably is the Sutrayana is like more like a cover Mahayana. But for the basic definition, we can find a different definition. This is also in line with what we learned. Some text in some of the teachings, the text might have different meanings, right? So thank you, Sally. Thank you, everyone, for the discussion.
Excuse me. I think this first and second is a different emphasis. The first one is emphasis between the Sutrayana and Vajrayana difference. And second is Theravada and Mahayana. So it's difficult to combine, you move Sutrayana to Theravada, and in this context, just remember these different classification of the differences. It's based on the more obvious difference between Sutrayana and Vajrayana. And the second is Theravada and Mahayana. So perhaps we try to not put the two definitions together. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sally. Let's continue. I think we can have like more discussion on the group in the group chat. Okay. Reflection and the nature of our freedom. So continue. Lee Campo also mentioned have no time. It also means have no freedom. But strictly speaking, lack of freedom refer to those state, the 8th state. So Campbell also mentioned for the meditation part, we'll meditate on the Longchenpa's finding rest in the nature of mind. So if we practice according to that, we will devote ourselves, practice accordingly. By doing so, a rock solid conviction will be arised in your mind. So briefly describe how to meditate on the common preliminaries. Like we have 92 sessions. In this session, we're doing analytical meditation. So our mind actively engages in analysis. So this practice does not stimulate that we need to empty our mind. So we don't have thought, like we're not thinking. So it's not. So the text, the exercise will be read the text first and grab its meaning, and then to refer back during the sitting. So to think analytical meditation, analyze to generate conviction. This is the way. Yeah, so we know a mind have knowing mind and thinking mind. So now we are using the thinking mind. And then after we have the conviction, we can use settling meditation on that conviction. In this way, we can generate our wisdom. So the wisdom will be vipassana practice. So this is not like the mindfulness. Mindfulness practice always encourage people have no thought, just rest our mind. This is like we have to analyze reflecting based on the text, and then to settling the meditation on that text. So this way we can like wisdom can be emerged. So Campo said, I wish every monastery or temples would offer Dharma teachings. So as we know, the Dharma include the scriptures and realizations. If we only have scriptures, the Dharma cannot pass along. So that's why the realizations, which is sitting in our mind stream, everyone's Buddhist mind stream. So we have to, uphold the teachings, we need the realization. Okay, so now we start text reading 4. Let's go back. Okay, who wanna start reading the text? Okay, if nobody volunteer, I can read. Lack of freedom refers to those 8 states. First to fourth, lack of freedom refers to those 8 states devoid of such an opportunity. Being born in health in a preta realm as an animal, a long-lived god or barbarian, having wrong views, being born when there is no Buddha, or being born deaf and mute. These are the 8 states without freedom. First, being born in health. Hell beings have no opportunity to practice the Dharma due to the endless suffering. They endure from extreme heat or cold. They are also experience excruciating sufferings in ephemeral hells and the neighboring hells. The Sutra of the 8 states without freedom and 8 freedom says, being in hell of copper, pillar, and iron here suffered excruciating pains. So do beings in hell of the pit of hot embers, the swamp of putrescent corpses, and the forest swords. While being tormented in hells, how can they have opportunity to listen to the authentic teachings? Second, being born in a preta realm. The pretas or hungry ghosts have no opportunity to practice the Dharma due to the suffering they experience from hunger and thirst. Let alone hungry ghost, even a human missing one meal doesn't want to practice. For example, someone ate one day precepts, and by evening they have no energy for listening to teachings, memorize verses, or making prostrations. They try to go to sleep earlier, but cannot. Therefore, when in a state of hunger and thirst, it is hard for a person to practice Dharma. The Buddha says, extremely hungry and thirsty, the preta throat is thinner than a needle, and the sufferings are excruciating. Rain falls into the river and become a raging fire, and pretas are torment in it. How can they have the opportunity to listen to the authentic teachings? We are also fortunate we were not reborn as hungry ghosts in this life. Otherwise, let alone engaging the formal Dharma practice, we would even have had the opportunity to recite the mantra of Avalokiteshvara or listening to the teachings of one sutra. Third, being born as an animal. Animals such as fish and shrimp in the ocean or cattle and horse on the ground have no opportunity to practice the Dharma because they are subjected to enslavement and attacks from other animals. The Buddha says, constantly intending to harm each other, often seeking to devil others. The animals are tormented in such a realm. How can they have opportunity to listen to the authentic teachings? Fourth, being born as a long-lived God. The long-lived God have all opportunity to practice the Dharma because they lived in a state of mental blankness. There are different explanations regarding where this God live. It could be in Arupaloka, the word formlessness, Kamaduka, Kamahatu, the word of desire, or fourth heaven of Rippadatu, the word of form. Nevertheless, being reborn as long-lived gods abides in a state of perceiving nothing for kappas, so they cannot practice the Dharma. Some Dharma practitioners stay at home mindlessly. Half an hour has passed and their mind are still blank. Maybe they are about to be reborn as a long-lived god, very dangerous. The long-lived gods don't generate a single thought within multiple kalpas, and eventually they fall into lower realms due to the arising of a wrong thought, so they don't have opportunity to practice. The Buddha says, those who were reborn in a body of Akanisha, due to the merit of previous lives, living a long life but cannot discern enlightenment and wisdom. How can they have the opportunity to listen to the authentic teachings? I'm going to continue, finish this 8. Lack of freedom refer to those 8 states from 5th to 8th. 5th, being born as a barbarian. Those born in border countries have no opportunity to practice the Dharma because the Buddha teachings is unavailable in such places. There are no scriptures of the Dharma, no realizations of the Dharma, and no fourfold assembly comprising monks, nuns, male lay disciples, and female lay disciples in such places, resulting in no opportunity to practice. People living in such places have never been heard the name of 3 Jews. They cannot distinguish Buddhas from gods. In particular, people living in certain rural area know nothing about Buddhism, and their way of thinking is scary. They think of the law of karma doesn't exist at all. If a person is reborn in such a barbarian place, they'll definitely have no opportunity to practice the Dharma. The Buddha says, being born in border countries full of virtuous actions, never hear the teachings of Dharma, have no discernment, and always living in barbarian places. How can those people have opportunity to listen to the authentic teachings? When I see certain Han Chinese monastic at Larunga not studying and practicing well, I sometimes feel a bit disappointed and discouraged. But when I think that they foment families and careers, resist all pressures, and become ordained in this sacred place, I feel inspired by their courage. How precious it is that we have the opportunity to practice the Dharma in turbid words. 6, have wrong views. Those born as 30kas or with similar wrong views have no opportunity to practice the Dharma because their mind are deeply entrenched in those mistaken beliefs. 30kas refer to non-Buddhist religions or philosophical traditions, adhering to extreme views of internalism and nihilism. Presently, there are many proponents of nihilism who refute the existence of rebirth, karma, the blissful Pure Land, hells, and so forth. Their goal of life is no different from that is of a yak. The Buddha says, having no faith in the 3 Jews, refuting the law of karma and the existence of noble beings, these wrong views obscuring the mind, how can those people having the opportunity to listen to the authentic teachings? Sometimes we hold wrong views and have doubts if a child early on establishing wrong views, including that Pure Land exists and the law of karma is true. When they grown up, it is very likely that he will still hold those views. 7th, being born when there is no Buddha. Those born during the dark kalpa have no opportunity to practice the Dharma because they never ever hear the 3 Jews and cannot discern between good and bad. Luckily, we were not born during the dark kalpa. Now that the Buddha has appeared and has turned the Dharma wheel 3 times, and the Dharma still abide in the world, we are fortunate to have been born in an area illuminating by the wisdom of Buddha, which guides us in discerning between good and bad. If we were born during a dark kappa, we would have no opportunity to practice. The Buddha said, the Buddha does not don't appear. The sublime Dharma doesn't come into the world. Being born in such dark kappa, how can people have the opportunity to listen to authentic teaching? Eighth, being born deaf and mute. Those born mute or with cognitive impairment have no opportunity to practice the Dharma due to their incomplete faculties. The Buddha says, negative karma from previous lives result in rebirth as a person with incomplete faculties. When a person is deaf, blind, mute, or mentally deficient, like a yak living in form of a human, how can that person have the opportunity to listen to authentic teachings? Okay, so this part is finished. Let's go back. Sorry, today's it's a little bit of hurry. Let's continue. So the 8 states without freedom, but this part is not very difficult. So the first, being born in hell, being born in Preta realm, born in an animal, being born as a long-lived god, being born as a barbarian, being born has wrong views, when there's no Buddha, being born deaf and mute. So let's go back. The first 4 is the hells. So we're not able to practice the Dharma because there is no opportunity, because they are continuous suffering. So the second is being born as a hungry ghost, because they're continuously hungry and thirsty. There's no opportunity to listen to the Dharma teachings. The third, constantly harm each other. There were others, the animal realm, not able to practice the Dharma. Long-lived God, due to their merit of previous lives, they are not able to practice the Dharma. They have a long life, but cannot discern enlightenment and wisdom. So after they finished their merit emptied, they will go back to the other realm. So there is no opportunity to practice the Dharma. So this is the 5th to 8th. Is being born as a barbarian. They're never hearing the teaching of the Dharma, so there is no opportunity to practice the Dharma. Then wrong views, have no faith in 3 Jews, so there is not, because those views are is obscuring the mind. So lots of people in this world, or friends, relatives, neighbors, they have wrong views. Because they have wrong views, they have no opportunity to listen to the Dharma teachings. So there's no Buddha. The born there is no Buddha. If they born in the dark kappa, there's no Buddha, so there's no opportunity to listen to the Dharma. And born have deaf and mute. So if people born with incomplete faculties, there's no opportunity to listen to the authentic teachings. In short, Buddha said the 8 states without freedoms that are listed, without the freedom that I listed, are the difficult states of sensual beings. Those who are in a state with the freedom are rare and precious in the world. Okay, so we have completed the 8th state with no opportunity to practice the Dharma. Anyone want to share anything?
I think it's very interesting. One of the state is being born as barbarians. When we hear this word barbarian, we might think somebody with no clothes to wear, it's just like barbarian, nothing, having nothing. But here it means you have no opportunity, live in a place so-called a borderland. You are barbarian, okay. So I think one can live in a more luxurious environment, have everything, living and so forth. But if there's no chance to hear the Dharma, or this place can be called a borderland, or the people can be called a barbarian, I think this very interesting what is designation, but it's very different from what we hear barbarian would think about.
Anything else, Sally?
No, that's all. I just think is just my thought on this barbarian or borderland.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, from my perspective, I think the have wrong views are very interesting, because like current people, lots of people have wrong views. They don't believe, they don't have opportunity to encounter the Dharma, and Campbell always says like even we have the karmic connection to encounter the Buddha, it really like precious, very difficult. So if like but in this world, a lot of people, they are not able to encounter the Dharma. They are not believe it, even like they have little opportunity. They don't believe it. They stuck in their world, and then lots of like suffering, wrong views, only fixed mind, like are very it's very difficult. Just anyone else?
I just want to emphasize that because barbarian is such a looking down on people, so we have to be careful. If people don't this no chance to hear the Dharma, or people don't like to be called as barbarian. So we must be careful here that because the Buddha said the text says if you have no chance to practice the Dharma, if you do such a nice place and so forth, you are barbarian. So I think we might just keep the knowledge to ourselves, but don't try to denigrate others because they are lack a chance. Thank you.
I was going to say,
Go ahead.
some people are being born deaf and mute. I think back then, way back then, those were limitations, but I don't see those as limitations anymore. I think we're so advanced now that being born deaf and mute does not stop people from having access to the Dharma, because there's sign language, and people can hear, and they're hearing devices. So that doesn't limit people anymore if they're really interested.
That's a very good point. It's actually, yeah. So
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yes, now there's a lot of ways to encounter the Dharma, to learn the Dharma. But I have one more thing. Is like within also like related to the wrong views. Is even they have opportunity to practice the Dharma, if they are not in. Not really the wrong views. Is not the correct sequence, as Campo mentioned again, again. And then even the practice the Dharma, but they're not easy to get the fruition, like to reach the end, reach the enlightenment. Okay, I think let's continue. We're almost there. Okay, so the summary. Let's read the summary. The eighth state without freedom in the Buddha's teachings are the difficult states of essential beings. If an individual is free from 8 state and has a freedom, then he has no obstacles preventing him from practicing the Dharma. Such a person is truly rare and precious in this world. We are practicing Ngöndro. Some can do 180 to 200 prostrations in half an hour every day, while others cannot. In fact, it is you who create the condition that limit your freedom. However busy you are, you can surely spare half an hour. Please discipline yourself well. This is very important. Yeah, this is the summary. I have read it. I just feel like this sentence, in fact, it is you who created the conditions that limit your freedom. I think because if we don't learn the Dharma, a lot of things when we think about it, it's very fixed. Everything is fixed. I don't have time. I don't have time. I remember when I started to learning the Ngöndro, I don't have time to go to the discussion session every week. So I said, I cannot do it. Then there's, but there's a group. When we started the group study, we don't have, in the beginning, we don't have the discussion session. That's why I started, and by that way, I completed my Ngöndro. Like for now, when I think back, is like everything is possible because our mind, in fact, has the greater potential, very powerful. As long as we are open, keep everything open, then every piece is moving because we have courses and the effect, right? We create good courses and every piece in our life is moving, and then we have opportunity. Then we got the place we want to. It's very amazing. Anyone have anything you want to share? No? Okay, so I think it's already 9:31, so we were complete our today's study for the dedication. Who want to read the dedication? That's the opportunity.
I'll do it.
Go ahead, Anna.
By this merit, may I attain the omniscient Buddhahood and overcome all enemies, the mental afflictions. May I liberate all beings from the ocean of samsara, unsettled by the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death.
Thank you, Anna. I think that's all. We have completed today's discussion session.